Hey everyone, I'm Lauren from My Something Beautiful Life, and today I'm excited to be able to show you the 2026 Sprouted Planner. This is a planner I was actually intending to purchase for myself for 2026. So when Heather reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review one, I was very excited. So she did send this to me for free, and I really appreciate that because I love this planner and I can't wait to use it again in 2026. I also have a discount code, so if you do want to order from Sprouted Planner, you can use my code for 15% off, and I will put that up here on the screen so that you can see it. It will also be in the description below. I have also been sharing my 2025 Sprouted Planner on Instagram quite a bit lately, so if you are interested in seeing how I plan on a regular basis, I would love it if you came and followed along with me over there. So I do have the weekly planner here to show you, and then she also sent me the monthly planner, so I will flip through that as well. And then this is the monthly reflection booklet. This is included with your purchase when you buy the weekly, the daily, or the hourly planners. And so I will show you the inside of that too. But first of all, let's actually go through the main planner and then we will get to these booklets. I chose the color Lemon Drop, which honestly for me is a little bit out of character. I usually don't gravitate towards yellow, but I just became obsessed with this color as soon as I saw it. It is just this beautiful shade of almost like a pastel yellow. She also has 4 additional cover options. There's this one right here. This is called Flower Child, I believe. And I will link to the website so that you can go and see all of the different planner and cover options. But I just really love this lemon drop cover. If you are familiar with the Sprouted Planner, there's quite a bit in here that hasn't changed, but there are some things that have majorly changed. So we will talk about those. Right here on the front cover, we have a pocket, and then it also comes with this snap-in stencil ruler. And I love this. I love having things that I can use to mark my page. So I'm very excited to have that as well. And then the first page that we have, of course, is our name page. Over here we have some of the different ways that you can reach out to Sprouted Planner. We have the website, her email address, and then her YouTube channel. And she has an amazing YouTube channel. She posts tons of videos about different planning tips and ways to prioritize and just ways to really focus on what matters to you. I think she does a really good job of explaining things, and so I love watching her YouTube videos. And then right here we have a welcome letter from Heather, just to explain a little bit about the planner and why she created it. And then she goes into some more detail about the system that is within this planner. I say this very loosely, but this planner has a goal setting system built into it. It's not a goal system like you've ever seen, and I wouldn't even necessarily call it goals because it's more of just a way of intentionally living. But she has a very unique system that deeply focuses on the things that are really important, more than just the things that you're trying to get done. So I'm not going to go over it in very much detail. If you do want more explanation about it before purchasing the planner, she has tons of YouTube videos about it. She also has some planner setup videos where she goes into a lot of detail that way as well. And then on this page, we have an overview of the different layouts that are within this planner. And we will see all of these as we go through it. So here's where we start in her system. So because she has a true planner heart like we do, she created a checklist for all of your different prep work in the beginning so that as you go through it, you can check off each individual item. This first page is where we determine our values. Everything that she does is highly value-based, which to me, it just feels like a deeper way of setting goals and intentions for the year. And so I really love that that's where she starts. We have another page that is just narrowing down our core values. And then we go into our intentions page where we use our core values to set our intentions for the year. The next thing that she talks about is the people. Because when we are trying to decide what's most important in our life, most of the time the people are going to be a really big part of that. And she is one of the few systems like this that puts so much emphasis on the relationship. I agree with her that the relationships in our life are a huge part of what we should be focusing on a regular basis. And so I think that is a really special thing that she has put so much emphasis on that. The next page is the hopes for the year. And this is probably one of my favorite pages to fill out. I love just kind of brainstorming and journaling about the things that I would like the next year to look like, the things I would like to do, and the things I'd like to become. I think that's a really good reflection page. And having it in your planner gives you something to look back on through the rest of the year. And now here we have the 2026 yearly overview. And then on this page, we have 2026 holidays and observations. After that, we go into some more reflecting. So we have a list of things that you want to see more of and things that you want to see less of in the next year. And I believe this is a new page. I don't think this page was in the planner last year. So I'm really excited about that because I love this type of a list. I think this is a really important thing to pay attention to when setting goals. And then over here we have our year list. So this would be similar to like for this year, 2025 and 2025, like where you pick just things that you want to do throughout the year. This can be goal related, but it also could be experience related, or if you want to like read a specific book, or I don't know, it could be whatever you want. So basically this is just a list of things that you would like to do or that you would like to experience in the coming year. So I think this is just a really fun way to just kind of set some intentions and some plans for the coming year. And then it also has a little note here that says each monthly calendar will have a reminder to schedule these in. So it's really easy to just make a list like this and then never see it again. So it's right here in the beginning of the planner, and then on every month you will be reminded to come back and pick some of these to do for the month. The next pages that we have are forward planning. So we have our big picture preview here. It has 4 different boxes where you can choose what category goes in each boxes. This could be done by quarters, by seasons, maybe even by categories, however you want to do it. She has left a lot, actually like most things that have headings, she has left them blank so that you can use them however you want. And it's just another way that you can plan ahead some of the things that you would like to do or even need to do in the coming year. And then over here we have the same thing, but we have a space for each month. So you just have some space set aside to plan out those things that happen during each month. And this could be birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, things like that. But it could also be just reminders, like if you are going to plant a garden, put which month you're going to start planting the seeds. Or if you have annual appointments that you need to keep track of or remember to schedule, then you can put those in here. Just any little reminders that you need throughout the year. This is another one of my favorite pages. I love this tracker. I think there's so many different ways that you could use this. And I think even having like 3 of these in here, like I could totally use all of them. Just because there's so many different useful ways to take advantage of this page. You basically have a box for every single day of the year. So you could use it as a mood tracker. You could use it as a spending tracker, like how much you spent for that day. You could use it for health related goals, for tracking maybe how many minutes you exercised for. There are endless ways that you could use this page. And if you have any ideas, I would love to hear your ideas in the comments because I haven't decided how I'm going to use mine yet. And I would just love to hear all the different ideas that you have on how you could use this page. Then we have 2 dot grid pages just for any additional things that you might want to include in the beginning of your planner. There are 2 lined pages here, and then we get into the months. So at the beginning of every month, you have a dot grid page, and then you have this dashboard page. And in true Heather fashion, there is nothing labeled here. You are free to use all of these boxes however you want. You don't have to cover up any labels that don't work. It's all just a blank canvas for you to choose how you want to utilize the space. And then we go into the monthly calendar. So the first thing I want to point out is up here in the corner, we have this tiny little list. These are your reminders for the month. So we have monthly reflection, values, people, year list, and previews. So all of those pages that we just filled out in the beginning, as well as this reflection booklet, there's reminders for all of that here. There's a lined sidebar. Each of the days are also lined. It does have holidays written in on the bottom of the boxes, but I do really love that all of these boxes are lined, and they are quite small lines, which for me, I really like that. I know if you have trouble writing small, you may not like that as much, but you could always use 2 lines if you just needed to write bigger, or just ignore the lines altogether. Personally, I just love the lines and I love the size of them. And then down here at the bottom, we have a checklist on this side. She left space up at the top so that if you wanted to divide these 2 columns into different lists, you could do that. And then over here, we have a dot grid section and a mini calendar for the coming month. I believe last year's planner also had the previous month mini calendar, but she took that out, and so this year it only has the coming month, which I would use that probably more than the previous one. I don't think I would go back and reference it. Honestly, the mini calendars in general, I tend to not use them because if I want to see the next month, I will just flip to the next month. I've heard of people that use them to track their work schedules and things like that. And so I know there are quite a few people that will actually appreciate that this is still there. So this is the monthly calendar. And then for each month, we also get 2 lined pages. So within each month, you have 2 lined note pages here, and then you also have the dot grid page before the month and this whole planning page. I love how much just empty note space there is in this planner. And there's even more that I'll show you later. She really gives you tons of room to just keep track of anything that you might need to remember or know throughout the month. And so I really love that. And then this is our weekly layout. So this has not changed at all from the previous year, which I am grateful for because this is actually working really well for me. And so I'm really excited to take this into 2026. So over on the left, we have our days of the week. So each day has just like a small line section, and then it has 3 checklists and then 2 additional blank lines. So you could use the checklist for your top 3 or just certain things that you want to keep track of. Maybe you do certain habits every day and you want a space to keep track of that daily, so you could use it for that. And then you also have the blank lines, so if you wanted to meal plan or plan out a workout, or maybe that's where you keep track of your work schedule, there's all kinds of different things that you could use those additional lines for as well. Maybe you just want a longer to-do list. You could always just extend it to the bottom of that section. She also left a blank section up here, which if you decided to, this is how she intended it, but of course you can use it however you want. But she left this section to be used for weekly intentions. So it's just a small space where you can jot down your intentions for the week or just anything that you just want to carry into the week to keep on your mind. You could even just use it for a quote or just a small thought, anything that you want. And then on the right side of the page is where we have like our main planning space. And this is probably one of my favorite features of this planner because I just love note space. I love checklists. I love making random notes. My brain just operates really well with a layout like this. So I have just been loving this layout. So over here we have a 2-column to-do list. So you could make it one long running list. You could also use the space here at the top to divide it into 2 different sections. We have a grid section here, a blank section here, and then a dot grid section here at the bottom. And I believe Heather uses this section for a little bit of weekly reflection, just how did her intentions go? So it's full circle from the intentions here at the top to the reflections down here at the bottom. But again, nothing is marked, nothing gives you prompts of what you should put there, so you can use it however you want. She's not trying to boss you around and tell you where you need to put things. And I appreciate that so much in this planner. So then all of the following weeks are going to be the same. And then at the end, we just go into the next month. We do have these beautiful colored tabs for each of the months. And the planner will just continue like that through the rest of the year. So then at the end of December, okay, so here is the last week of December and the beginning of January 2027. After this page, we go into a 2027 calendar where we can just put any plans that may come up. She calls this bridging the gap. So whenever you need to plan something for the coming year, but you don't have your next planner yet, this is a space where you can keep track of that. We also have the 2027 overview. So this is a really good just planning page if you need to have anything written down for 2027. And then we go into note pages, which I'm so excited about. There are a ton of note pages in here. I'll have to look up and see what she said. I think there's like 20 of them, so 40 pages back to back. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I've already been making a list of all of the different things I'm going to keep track of back here. And I just love the idea of keeping so much of my life contained in this one planner. And there is enough note space to be able to do that. I am very excited about this change that she has made to the planner this year. And then in the back, the same as last year, we have a sheet of stickers. So these ones will fit on the monthly calendar boxes. We have some flags down here. These are just some blank dots, and then these ones have little icons in them. I don't know if you can see them very well, but they have these cute little icons that you can use to keep track of different things throughout the year. And then another new addition to the planner this year is a pocket in the back. I love this too. I love my pockets. I always have some sort of little scrap of paper that I'm trying to keep with my planner. I think this offers a lot more extra space to be able to hold things instead of just the pocket in the front. I do think the pockets in the front are nice, but I love coiled in pockets even better. I just find that you can put so much more into these types of pockets than you can with the ones in the front. So if I had my choice between the two, I would definitely pick these ones over the front pockets, but I do appreciate the front pockets too, because there are definitely things that work well in these pockets too. But that is the end of the planner. The back of it just has the logo and then of course the yellow lemon drop color. I love this planner. I love how it turned out. I think if there was anything that I would change about it, the only thing I can think of is that I think I might make the coil a little bit bigger. It works just fine, but sometimes it just feels a little tight having the hard covers as well. I just feel like hard covers sometimes need a little bit of extra space on the coil. But that being said, it is totally functional the way it is. And for all I know, the larger coils could actually be too bulky and they might even make it worse. So I don't know the testing process that she went through. This might still be the best option. Sometimes I just feel like the cover kind of catches on the coil a little bit, and I honestly don't know what would fix that. It might just be the nature of hard covers, which is fine. I do really appreciate that this is coiled and not like the double O binding. I am not a huge fan of the double O binding. I love coils. And so I do appreciate that even though she used a hardcover, she still was able to make it with a coil. So I love that, and I'm very excited for this planner. I think she did a really great job putting it together, and I do love the changes that she made this year. With that being said, let's actually go through the reflections book and explain a little bit more about what this is. So this is included in your purchase if you buy the weekly, the hourly, or the daily planner. Basically, these reflection pages that are inside this book used to be inside the planner, but she took them out, moved them to a separate book for a couple of reasons. The two main ones that I remember her mentioning are, for one, at the end of the year, you could actually use this book as a type of keepsake. If you're not somebody who tends to keep your actual planners, all of your memories and reflections could be inside this notebook, and it would be a lot smaller. It could just fit on your shelf. It has the year printed on it. The white on the yellow is a little bit hard to see, but it can be like this keepsake book that you can keep instead of having to keep your entire planner, just to remember the things that happen throughout the year. The other reason that she mentioned for taking these pages out and putting them in their separate book was for all of those note pages in the back. Because she removed the reflection pages from the planner, she had space to be able to add in those note pages. And so for that alone, I will totally support that decision because I love having all of those note pages in the back. So let's flip through this and I will show you everything that's in here. So the reflection book that you get will come in the same color as whatever planner you choose. So because I picked the Lemon Drop planner, I get the Lemon Drop reflection booklet. As of right now, you cannot buy this book separately. The only way to get it is if you purchase the planner. But she has said that that might change next year because so many people have been wanting to purchase this book separately. So the inside of the cover is the same yellow color. We have the name page, and then we have a small page explaining what this book is for. This book is saddle stitched, and so it will lay completely flat, which I love that. Oh, and this cover is really nice. It's a very thick cardstock, maybe even almost like a chipboard. Not quite as thick as chipboard, because chipboard would be more like the planner cover, but it is a very, very thick coated cardstock. So it is a very nice, durable cover. Okay, so we have our intro page, and then it goes into a January calendar, and this reflection, review your calendar from the month, what stands out as memorable. So this is just where you could put some of the major things that happen throughout the month. You can track them on the calendar and then just journal about them a little bit here. What were some of your highlights for the month? Things that you loved doing, maybe major events that happened that you just want to remember in future years. Just a general overview of what happened throughout the month. And then we have some reflection questions. What am I proud of? What did I struggle with? What brought me joy? And then over here we have this question. If I could design my ideal cozy day at home, what would it look like? And I'm wondering if this question might change throughout. Let me see. Yes, this question will change every month. So you have these 3 that are going to stay the same, and then this one down here will be different every month. And then we have a currently section. So we have reading, watching, listening to, enjoying, dreaming about, and your favorite memory and your favorite place from the month. Next we have intentions. So what were your intentions for all of these areas? How did it go? Who are the people I want to invest more emotional energy in this month? And then looking forward to the next month. What am I looking forward to? What am I feeling challenged or worried about? What do I want to make space for in February? And then your upcoming focus for your values, people, your year list, previews, and your priority. And then we have a dot grid section here just for anything else that you might want to keep track of. And then we move into the next month. So each of the months are going to repeat like that. And I just love how there's some of these extra spaces where you could put in pictures or just list out some additional memories, any other journaling that you want to do about the month. This could be just a really cute memory planner for your year. And it just keeps it all in this petite little book. So all of the months are just like that. And then when we get to the end, and then at the very end, we have the year-end reflection. So review your calendar and reflections for each month over the last year. What stands out as memorable and or significant? What am I most proud of and why? What challenged me the most? What brought me the most joy? In the beginning pages of your planner, you wrote out your hopes for the year. Read it again. Did your hopes come to fruition? Write about it. So I love that it goes back on the pages that you filled out at the beginning and just gives you reason to reflect back on them. I think this is also good motivation to keep looking back at them throughout the year, for me at least, because then I feel like I will have good progress to write about on these pages. The next page we have, in each monthly reflection, you listed what you struggled with. Are there reoccurring themes? Any personal insights? Review what you were feeling challenged or worried by from each month's looking forward and how did it all turn out. Write about your value-based intentions this year. Did you do what you intended to do? Why and why not? And then we have your favorites from the year. So I'm not going to read them all off, but I think this is just a really cute way to just think about some of the things that you just loved throughout the year. And you could actually fill this out during the year if you wanted to. And so I just love this little looking back just to remember all of the good things from the year. And then we have a couple more lined note pages just for any other reflections or memories that you wanted to keep track of. You could put pictures in those pages as well. I just love this little book. I think this is such a great idea. So I'm actually really excited that it now comes in its own separate booklet. Okay, and then the last thing that I have to show you is the monthly planner. So I think I may have mentioned this earlier, but I picked the Flower Child pattern for this monthly planner. I absolutely love these colors and these beautiful flowers, and I think it matched really well with the lemon drop yellow. That's one thing I have to say about all of her patterns is they all go really well together. She picks a cohesive color palette for each year, and then all of the covers will mix and match perfectly. This notebook is approximately A5 size, so it's very similar to the reflection book, which the reflection book's a little bit bigger, and I think this one might be like a true A5, so it's a little bit shorter than that, but it's very similar to an A5 size notebook. It is also saddle stitched, so it will lay flat as well. And the cover is also made from a durable cardstock. It's not quite the same material as the reflection book is. The reflection book is a little bit sturdier, and this one is a little bit more flexible, but it is coated on both sides and it has the beautiful green inside. One thing I love about monthly planners like this is that they are really good for projects or specific things that you want to plan for that you may not need a full planner, but you do want to keep it a little bit separate from your normal plans, or you just need more room than you have available in your regular planner. So the first thing that we have in here is, of course, the name page. We have the 2026 yearly overview and 2026 holidays and observations. Similar to the regular planner, we have this page that has the 4 different sections that you can divide up into 4 different categories: quarters, seasons, or just any sort of theme that you wanted to keep track of. We also have the same page with a section for each month. And then again, this yearly tracker that I just love. So you'll see that a lot of the pages in the beginning of this are the same as the ones that you have inside the regular planner. So if you are somebody who doesn't even need a lot of planning space, you could just use one of these monthly planners, or maybe you want something to carry with you on the go. This could be a really good option for that as well. So next we have 2 dot grid pages We have some line pages, and this one has a line down the side that you can use for a checklist if you wanted to, or you can just ignore it and just use it as a regular lined page. We have another set of those, and then we move into the monthly calendar. And again, the monthly calendar is very similar to what we have in the regular planner. We don't have the same space at the bottom that we have in the larger planners. And you also don't have that checklist reminder because we don't have the intentions and value pages that we have inside the larger planner. But we still have the same lined monthly calendar. And if I am correct, I believe this is the same size boxes as is in the larger planners. So even though the book itself is a little bit smaller, we save space by not having those checklists in the grid space at the bottom of this page. And so these boxes can be the same size as what is in the hardbound planner. And then we have 2 lined note pages for every month, and then it will move into the next month. So it's a very simple planner. You have your monthly calendar, you have some note space, and then you have like your calendar and planning pages at the beginning. And then at the very end, after December, you have your 2027 calendar, so you can plan ahead for the coming year. And then you have a couple more notes pages. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7. So you have 7 notes pages, and then it's just the back of the planner. So it's a very simple little planner, but I love these for just keeping track of other little things. I think they are very good companion planners to go with your larger ones that are more comprehensive. Or again, if you just need something to carry with you, this is also a really great option. She also sells clear covers for these, so if you want some extra protection for it, you can order those. I think they're like $2.50. They're like super cheap. So that's definitely something I would recommend grabbing just in case you wanted to have it a little bit more protected. But I am very excited about all of the new Sprouted planners. I know I've mentioned it throughout the video, but she also has a daily and an hourly version. So if you are interested in one of those layouts instead of this weekly layout, then you can check out that as well. And if you do order, remember to use my discount code and you will get an extra 15% off your order. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments and I will get an answer for you. I hope this was helpful and that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.